For ACUsports.com, I'm Grant Boone with head men's basketball coach Joe Golding. His team has an off night Wednesday and a chance to regroup and head into the final 5 games of the conference season, vying for a spot in Katy, Texas in the Southland Conference tournament. Off nights are precious in this league, aren't they, Coach?
Yeah, we're going to get a win tonight, so that's
we're not going
to lose, and so that's a precious thing this time of year to get a win. So, I think it was a much-needed bye. Yeah, it comes at the right time. I liked it. This one. We had 3 or 4 games, and now getting a bye right here before we have 5 tough games down the stretch.
And you were at home on Saturday, which means you didn't have to travel and get back. You've had a little time at home.
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost been like we've been here 2 weeks, So we were able to have those 2 games at home last week, and then get the bye this week, and then obviously travel down to Southeastern on Friday. So I think it's been good for our guys. It's been good to get back here and kind of get re-energized for the stretch. It's also better that we got to win before our bye. Last time losing to Corpus makes for a long week.
Well, let's talk about the win. 80-69. It was a thorough victory. You led from the beginning and finished off Incarnate Word. We talk about little milestones along the way. Incarnate Word is not having the kind of season they've had in years past. But the fact that you had a little tough stretch against them, you check off one more little box along the way as you're trying to make it to Katy, don't you?
Yeah, it's a team that we haven't been able to beat in Division I. We obviously beat them when we were both in Division II in the Lone Star, but have not beat them since the transition. I think that's a credit to Ken. Ken had some really good teams early on in the transition, really good players, and still has a locker room full of really good players. You look at Sean and his son, Sam, and what's the other Simi Sox,
sure.
And those guys, we've struggled against those guys, and they've had some adversity this year. They've had some injuries and they've had some other stuff with the Hart kid, whatever's going on with him not being able to play. He's one of the better players in the league and their point guard, and so anytime you lose a kid like that, it's tough. But they're still in games, they're still playing hard, and that's a credit to Coach Burmeister and what he means to that program and what he's done and the history and the culture that he's built there. And so it was good to get a win.
And as we've talked about a lot, records are in a way. I mean, I know fans look at it and say that's not a very good record, so we quote unquote ought to win. It doesn't work like that, though, does it?
No, not on the. I think there's good players, man. Those guys, you saw it. They're Division I players. There's guys in that locker room in Incarnate Word that have won a lot of games in this league. Yeah. I think the last 2 or 3 years they were in the top 8. And so. I think this we're past looking at records. Yeah. I think you got to treat each game the same, and obviously you got to try to get a win. Wins are hard to get at the Division I level. Anytime you're fortunate enough to get one, you got to take it and you got to move on to the next one. And the one thing we haven't been able to do is really string a bunch of wins together, and I think that's what it takes. You got to be able to get on a roll and win a couple in a row, and that kind of gives you a little bit of separation. And we just haven't been able to quite do that.
Well, we talk about little boxes that you tick off. ACU, since coming back to the Southland Conference after that 40-year absence, had not had a men's player be named Player of the Week. Apparently it takes about 19 points and 18 rebounds to average in 2 games to get Player of the Week. Jaron Lewis gets it. He goes for 18 and 20 against league-leading Nichols, and he goes for 20 and 17. Coach, I mean, you don't see many performances like that on any level of basketball, do you?
It was very, very impressive, and I've said it from day one. This year I think he's an all-conference player. He's been a leader in our locker room from the summer. He's really developed. He's really gotten stronger, bigger, and then he's just really played well for us all year. The one thing he's done here late is really rebound the basketball. I challenged him really hard at the Sam game at halftime. Yeah. I pulled him out of the locker room because he is our leader. We don't have a very vocal locker room at times, and we need him to stand up and say some things, and we need him to be challenged. And I think he takes it the right way now. He's a junior. It challenged him, and I think that's not the reason he's playing well. He's playing well now because he's a really, really good player, but he deserved it. And I told our team, he didn't get Player of the Week because he scored points. A lot of people in this league score points. He got Player of the Week for his individual effort on the rebounding, on the glass, both on the offense and defensive end. And it's pretty incredible what he did. And to me, it's just a kid that's invested. It's a kid that's grown up in our program. It's a kid that wants to get to Katy. It's a kid that wants to build this program and continue to build a culture and leave a legacy here for other guys to follow. And so extremely proud of him. I think he'd be the first to tell you, in that locker room, that just my teammates, and I'm thankful for them. But he's right on that. But rebounding is something that's just it's kind of one of those things that's driven individually. You either go get the ball or you don't. There's not a whole lot of technique in rebounding, in my opinion. Yeah. There's a little bit, but it's also you against another guy and going to the ball. Are you outside the three-point line when the shot goes up, and do you have enough investment to sprint in there to go get it? And right now he does. And I think the more he sees it, he saw that stat line the Nichols game, I think it was an eye-opening experience. Well, wow, man, I can do this. And so to do it back-to-back was very impressive.
The 20 rebounds against Nichols a week ago, 7th highest individual total by anyone in Division I basketball so far this season. So you do get the off day on this Wednesday. Saturday, you go on the road, you play Southeastern Louisiana. You had a thriller against them right here at Moody. Had a shot in the air with 5 seconds to go that would have beaten them had it gone in. It didn't, and to their credit, they got the victory. They've only lost 3 games in conference. This is a really good team. They're even better at home. It's going to be a heck of a challenge, won't it?
Yeah, it's going to be tough for us. They're very well coached. They got really, really good players, obviously led by Vilder, point guard. He's makes everything go for him. And then they have a lot of depth inside, and then they have really good perimeter playing guys that can step out and shoot the basketball. So it makes for an extremely tough, difficult guard for us, you know. And so we're going to have to go down there anytime you go on the road. You got to go down there and you got to really take care of the basketball. We got to find a way to rebound the basketball, and we're going to have to find a way to hit some shots and stay in the game. And against a very good team. So I don't think we're going to be scared, you know, to go there. I think we're very confident in our abilities to go on the road and get a game. You know, obviously you talked about the game here. Was really, really close. I think our guys will be ready. I think they understand the importance of it, but so does Southeastern. You know, they're playing for a conference championship, and so they're going to be ready to play. And Coach Ladner does a great job, and I expect a really, really good Southland Conference Division I basketball game.
Last thing, this is our first go-round trying to make it to the conference tournament. I keep repeating it on the radio broadcasts. I think it's important to keep saying we're playing for a spot in the Southland Conference tournament. If you win the Southland Conference tournament, this is something ACU's never been a part of. If you win the Southland Conference, you're going to the NCAA tournament, the brackets, March Madness, all of that. That's. I know it's on your minds, but I think we have to keep saying it. We're playing for something significant here at ACU.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think there's any secret. We're in a one-bid league. You know, the Southland Conference is going to have one team in it. It really doesn't matter what you do in the regular season. It all comes down to 3 or 4 days in Katy. Now, obviously, the regular season matters on seeding and matchups and things like that. But, you know, one team out of those 8 are going to make the NCAA tournament. So it's really important right now that you're playing your best basketball this time of year. Teams that have a tendency to kind of go the other way, you either go up or down right here, and you want to go into this stretch run right here playing some of your best basketball to give yourself the best opportunity to go. And so I think we're doing that. I'm really happy we, you know, where we're at. 4 of our 6 losses have been a 1 or 2 possession game. So I think we're right there. We just have to continue to trust the process, continue to try to get better. You know, the one thing a little frustrating with us right now is just the little things, being undisciplined a little bit. I'm taking care of the basketball and some defensive assignments, and then in rebounding. Those are 3 things that we continue to try to stress. And I think we're getting better as a rebounding team. I think we understand the urgency of defense and rotations. I thought we guarded a lot better against Incarnate Word. And I thought we guarded Nichols great. Talk about a team that averages 85 points a game and held them to right. I think we're guarding a lot better. I just think we have to take care of the basketball. It's something that we did a great job of early on in the year, and it's something we've really struggled here in the last couple of weeks. And we have to understand that those are things that we have to do to give ourselves a chance to not only make it to Katy, but to give ourselves a chance to make a run at Katy. And so those are things we're harping on with our guys, and hopefully we can get those corrected and fixed and make a good run here down the stretch.
ACU off on Wednesday at Southeastern Louisiana, the second-place team in the Southland Conference, on Saturday down in Hammond, Louisiana.